Well, the Phillies did what they had to do today. They beat the Detroit Tigers by a score of 4-0. They sweep the series, and they should have. So, an important sweep right there. And going back to the Pirates series, we have 3 wins in a row right now. I think 4 in our last 5. And we are starting to gain ground in the wild card. I think before this game, I think we were a half game behind the second wild card spot and a game above Milwaukee. So with this win, I think we moved up a half game or something like that. Depends on who in the second wild card spot lost or won or not. So yeah, and even with the lineup, it wasn't really a traditional lineup you would see throughout the entire season. Gabe Kapler decided to give some people the day off today. He gave Bryce Harper the day off, which is very understandable. They were talking about before the game that Gabe Kapler wanted a more fresh Bryce Harper down the stretch. And basically, after this day off for Bryce Harper, he's not going to have another day off the rest of the season. So I completely agree with Gabe Kapler to do this because we have a huge series this weekend against the Atlanta Braves, where hopefully we can gain some ground on them in the NL East and just build some more momentum. Even though we have won 4 out of our last 5, and we won 8 out of our last 12, so that's a pretty decent stretch to start off with. And just added on going into that big series this weekend against the Atlanta Braves, just bring that momentum into that series and just hopefully gain some ground in the NL East because it's going to be a very important stretch going down the rest of the season, this end of July through the trade deadline, the rest of August, September, before the playoffs start. So, really important series win right here to gain some momentum going into this weekend series against the Braves. And Vince Velasquez was on the mound for us. I'll give it to him. I'll give it to Vince Velasquez, even though I don't like it because I don't like Velasquez at all. He pitched a pretty solid game, even though it was against the Detroit Tigers, one of the worst teams in the MLB. He pitched pretty solid. He did get himself into a couple jams. I think the Tigers had at least, through a couple innings, they had at least one runner in scoring position. I think at least through 3 or 4 innings in this ball game. He did get into a bases loaded jam in the second inning. He did manage to get out of that. But overall, just a decent performance by Vince Velasquez. It was nothing too spectacular. He did manage to go at least above 5 innings. He goes 5 2/3 innings. Gives up 4 hits, walks 2, strikes out 9. So, pretty decent performance by Vince Velasquez today. And even with the lineup not being that strong, we did manage to get some runs on the board and shut down the Detroit Tigers. They had Jordan Zimmerman on the mound, who has been pretty bad this season. He's 0 right now with this loss. He's 0-8, and I think he has an ERA over 7. So this, on paper, this should have been a winnable ball game, and thank God they won this ball game. Thank God. Even though the offense was a little quiet, they did score the runs when they had their chances, and that comes off of a JT Realmuto bomb, and also Nick Williams gives himself a bomb in this ball game, and Rhys Hoskins gets the RBI, and Cesar Hernandez gets another RBI. So, just getting runs when we had our chances. There's really nothing too much to critique in this ball game, just because the hitting scored their runs when they had their chances, and the pitching and the bullpen just really shut down the door once again. And the bullpen, even dating back to the Pirates series, has just been, I don't want to say dominant, it's been really solid. The bullpen has been really solid going back to the Pirates series. And just hopefully that's something that can remain consistent because we definitely need that going into this weekend. This weekend, I can't describe on how important this weekend is going to be for this ball club. And it's just, I would go over this game a lot more. It's just there wasn't really that much to talk about with this ball game. It was just the Phillies did what they had to do. They went in, swept the series against the Detroit Tigers, and just build some momentum off of this series. And even going back to the Pirates series, build some momentum. Build momentum going into this weekend. We have an off day tomorrow, and then this weekend against the Atlanta Braves, we have Jake Arrieta on the mound, Zach Eflin, and Aaron Nola on Sunday. So this is going to be very key for us. We got probably our 3 best starters going up against the Braves, Nola our best being on Sunday. So it's going to be really important just to get at least 2 games from the Atlanta Braves. It'd be even better if we can sweep the Atlanta Braves, but I'm not guaranteeing anything yet. We got to wait and see what happens on Friday first. And we have the day off tomorrow. We're going to have a fresh Bryce Harper because Gabe Kapler wanted Bryce Harper to be fresh, guaranteeing with all the other off days that we had on Monday, the off day tomorrow, giving him the DH spot yesterday, just get his feet off the field and just have him more refreshed, have him more energized, and just have a completely 100% Bryce Harper going down the stretch. And that's something that we're going to need going down the stretch, because if Bryce Harper can get really hot, that is something that will help us a lot. It'll help us a lot. And just going back into this ballgame, our stat lines throughout the entire lineup: Cesar Hernandez was leading off today, goes 2 for 5 with an RBI, a run scored. Scott Gingery goes 1 for 4 with a walk, quiet night for him. Reese Hoskins was the DH tonight, he didn't play first base, goes 2 for 5 with a triple and the RBI single, and also a strikeout. JT Reamuto goes 1 for 4 with that solo bomb. Adam Hazley goes over 3, a quiet day for him. Maikel Franco goes 1 for 4. And a little thing on Maikel Franco in today's ball game: he did have chances with runners in scoring position, and even without runners in scoring position, there were moments where I think when the Tigers brought in one of their bullpen guys, first 2 pitches to Maikel Franco, I think this was like around maybe the 6th, 7th, or I think the 6th or 7th inning. First 2 pitches thrown to Maikel Franco, both borderline right down the middle of the plate. That just takes both of them. Just like, I don't know what Franco was looking for right there. Then he takes another pitch that's outside for a ball. And then the 4th pitch that comes in, it's low, and he swings at it into the ground ball for an out. So that's the really one thing that I critique from this ball game, because what is Franco specifically looking for? The first 2 pitches in that bat were balls right down the middle, where he could have gotten something off of that, where he could have swung and maybe crushed the ball, or just at least get something, get contact on the ball, get the ball in play. But he settles off of those 2 pitches and hits a grounder on a ball that's low. Just, I don't know really the mindset with Franco going into that at bat. And also another thing with Franco, when I guess an at bat doesn't go his way, he always gets so pissy after his at bat. Sometimes throws his bat onto the ground. You could see that pissed off expression in his face. Yeah, you sometimes you want that with a player when they know they messed up in an at bat, when they know they had a pitch to hit. But it seems like Franco, just literally every at bat, when he doesn't get something going his way, he kind of does that a little too much, if you know what I mean. But off of that topic, also the rest of the lineup: Nick Williams goes 1 for 4 with that bomb. Andrew Knapp was the catcher today. And also JT Reamuto was playing first because Reese was the DH in tonight's ball game. He goes 0 for 3. Andrew Knapp. Roman Quinn gets a multi-hit game. He goes 2 for 4. So Roman Quinn getting some more action with Gene Segura, who we benched this entire season because he's still dealing with the ankle issue. So get him some rest for these 2 games. And that's one of the important things that Gabe Kapler mentioned also with Bryce Harper, just having some guys refreshed, having some guys get off their feet for a couple days, because we all know the important stretch that's going to be down the line the rest of the season, especially this weekend against the Braves. I know we have a couple more series against the Braves, maybe 1 or 2 against the Nationals. I know maybe some more against the Marlins. Just like down the stretch, I know we play the Cubs. I know we play another few teams from the American League, I think Boston and Cleveland or something like that. Just a lot of important stretches of games against good teams as well. So the Phillies are going to have to be prepared for that. They're going to have their players fresh and ready to go. So I completely understand Kapler's decision for resting these guys so that they're refreshed going down the stretch. So I completely agree with Kapler on that. And just going to the bullpen after Vince Velasquez was done in this ballgame, Suarez comes in. He goes 1 inning and a third, strikes out 1, gives up a hit. He was pretty solid. Adam Morgan goes an inning, walks 2, strikes out 1, pretty solid. Hector Neris comes in for the 9th inning and strikes out the side. So yeah, bullpen, just even dating back to the Pirates series, like I said earlier, just pretty solid. And hopefully the bullpen can just build something off of this, because we need this bullpen as well, especially as our rest of our guys being refreshed. We just need something to be consistent, something to build some momentum off of. We need some consistency. We need some hope in this team, because this stretch of wins right now, going 4 out of our last 5 and 8 out of our last 12. So that's pretty important right there. So hopefully we can build some momentum, go into this series against the Atlanta Braves, and hopefully do some damage, gain some games back in the NL East. Just hopefully something to build off of, and hopefully something to bring some confidence into. We got our 3 best pitchers on the mound this weekend, so hopefully we can do something there. I'm going to the game on Sunday with Noel on the mound, so maybe the Phillies can wake up for the series against the Atlanta Braves and maybe make it exciting. Just please. Just please make it exciting. Please. So, what are your guys' thoughts on this game? What are your guys' thoughts on the series sweep against the Detroit Tigers? And what are your thoughts on this little stretch of wins that we have so far? And what are your thoughts that we can do against the Braves this weekend? And also, like, another note, we are actually 6 games above 500. Who would have thought of that? We haven't been that high above 500, I think, since the end of May, beginning of June. So, something nice to look off of there. So, what are your thoughts on this game? What are your thoughts going into the Braves series? So, don't forget to leave a comment, drop a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video.